folks. I pulled in another pasture here. It's a little bit larger field, so I thought since I was running the guidance system here, I would do a little video on it in this field. It's more of a wide open field, and a little bit easier to do than some of the little fields I've been going in and out of the last little bit here. This is a ag leader compass that I purchased not too long ago. This is what I used to spray the wheat with this year, and so far so good. My previous background in guidance systems was the John Deere 1800 Green Star display with a Starfire ITC receiver. I purchased that system used and pieced it together. It's about a $5,000 system when it was new, but I bought it used and had about $2,000 in the display and the receiver. It was about $1,000 each. Used, and then I had to buy new cable harnesses to make it all work. It was a couple of different cable harnesses. I had about $500 in those. This system runs about $2,100 with the receiver and cabling. I got about $1,900 in this one, but if you go buy one now, you're going to be around $2,100. The Green Star system was good. It was very accurate. It was a little complicated to use. You get lost in the menu sometimes. I finally got used to it, but it wasn't just so straightforward as this. Again, those are expensive systems. It was probably a little bit more accurate than this system, but this system is accurate to within 3 feet past a pass, which is about 1.5 feet down your pass. So if you compensate for that error, you should be okay. Just to give you a little tutorial of it, this is kind of your main screen here. You start here in the corner with your satellites. This is your GPS information screen. You can do a satellite plot view here, and it tells you the satellites that it's looking at. Now, one thing to understand about a guided system, this one uses, I think, 12 satellites, 11, is it? Yeah, it's got 11 right now. I think it'll use 12, maybe 16. There's some data here on the signal. Yeah, satellites in view 11, and then tracked is 7. But one thing to understand here is, as you can see, this little map is in degrees. It's looking at satellites not only directly above you in the sky, because when you think, okay, satellites, you think straight up, but there's also satellites that are way out on the horizon. Like, as far as I can view right now, the mountain over there, there could be a satellite just above that mountain that it is receiving. North, south, east, west, same scenario. So understanding that, you need to know that for your placement of your GPS receiver or antenna. I see people that will put their antenna out on the front of their hood, or out behind the cab down low, or maybe in front of the cab down low. The receiver antenna does not need to have any obstruction. It needs to be on the very highest point of the tractor or implement you're using. I suggest if the implement you are using is taller than the tractor you're driving, that it needs to be on the highest point of that implement. Because as you're going down the field, if there's a satellite directly behind you on the horizon, and the satellite is either on the front of the hood of the tractor or is on the cab of the tractor and the implement is taller, say you're suddenly going to block the view of that satellite that is due straight behind you on the horizon. So that will, then you will lose accuracy. As you can see, these satellites are coming in and out here on the display. As you can see, these around the edge are the ones, see these here are directly above me, these out here around the edge are on the horizon. So they're coming in and out because obviously they are much further away and just on the hairy edge of being able to be tracked. Now it's odd, I've got number 11 down here is being tracked. I'm kind of in a cove right now surrounded by mountains. However, I'm furthest away from the mountain behind me, so it is able to track that satellite there on the horizon. There's a graph plot here that's showing you your signal strengths, dBs, of each satellite that's currently being tracked. As it tracks more satellites, they will all come on the screen. But again, antenna placement is very important. And you know, as you can see, I've got 5 satellites that are out on the horizon. So if I had that receiver out on the front of the hood of my tractor, I would be losing these satellites to the south of me here, and it would even get worse. So again, make sure your antenna is at its highest point in unobstructed view. Then there's just some basic information here. There's various settings. This would be your management. This would be your files. You say your different coves, different fields, I should say. I've got one named Cove there. But anyway, I haven't really put many in here. I don't really save to go back and do the same track very often. So, but you can come in here, organize your fields, your seasons, different users, things of that nature. Here is just general settings. As you can see, I'm manual guided, so I am not auto steering. There's auto detect on my receiver. There's some light bar settings. That would be the spacing of which these lights are. So right now I've got it on 6 inches. So as you'll see here in a little bit, we'll get started. This would be dead center. The next light would be 6 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches, etc. So I can gauge how far off track I am in feet or inches by the spacing. That is customizable. And you can, the chase mode is, if I get lights that start going out here to the right, I'm going to turn the steering wheel to the right and chase those lights. I can do the other mode here, which is a pull, which means I would turn the other way and pull those lights back in. That is user preference. It's completely up to you. I'd rather chase it. Here's just display settings, brightness, volume, date, time, different things here. So go into that. There's a USB you can use, then basic, bright, dim. This little wrench here is very important. This would be your main setup for your tractor and implement. Again, here's your antenna location on the vehicle. I am dead center on the tractor. If it was to one side of the tractor or the other, I could offset it that here. It is 112 inches from the ground to my antenna. So that will do any compensation for tilt terrain if you have those features. The Green Star system I had did have that feature. The only time where it really got frustrating was if you was going over terrace rows and whatnot at an angle, and it would just throw the top of the cab back and forth, and it was just hard to keep up with. But if you're on the side of a hill on a field, that would work well. Implement width here, we're spreading fertilizer at 40 feet today, so there's where you enter that. It gives you the opportunity to change that width when you start a new event. Say I'm going to start a new event here in a minute, and it will show you or give you the option to change it if you want to. This is set up for my spray rig. I'm not going to mess with it today, but basically this is saying my spray boom is exactly 20 feet behind my antenna. So if you're doing an overhead view of the print on the screen and you're doing section control, that will place that on the screen properly, and you know exactly when to turn your boom sections on and off or lift your implement, whatever that is. And here is room for an implement switch if you have one. I do not have one of those yet, but I would like to get one. And again, if your implement's offset, say it's a disc mower or something that's running off to the right of you or the left, whatever, you can compensate for that here. So I think I pretty well went over everything, the basics there. So right now I'm ready to get started on this field. So I'm just going to select new event. It says this create new event. I say yes. This is where you make a very important decision on the field. Again, here's the 40 feet. I can go in there and change that here on the fly if I need to. That's what I was mentioning to you just a minute ago. But here is your patterns. As you can see, you got a straight pattern, smart path, pivot, which would be around a circle. If you had an irrigation field that had irrigation with a circle, it'd be good. I don't have any of those. Adaptive curve and identical curve. The straight track and the identical curve is most usually the ones that I'm going to run. There are situations where an adaptive curve would be good, but I usually just run an identical curve. Okay, so we got a choice to make. The basics on a guidance system, most of them are all the same. You've got an A, B line. It can be straight, it can be curved, it can go around in a circle. It's pretty much what this is talking about here. So, at some point on this field, I've got to mark an A. From that point, I'm going to drive either dead straight or weaving in and out or curve, whatever it may be, and when I get to the end, I'm going to mark a B point. At the point I mark that point, that B point, it's going to lay my field out in lines and paths for me. So when you enter a field, you need to select the correct pattern for that field. This field down to my left on the far side is pretty straight. There is a little bit of a curve over there, but so let's just say it was perfectly straight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take down this field, and as I go around this field and I find myself on that straight side, as I just start to go down that straight side, I'm going to mark an A point. And then I'm going to go all the way to the end of that straight side. And when I get to that end, I'm going to mark a B point. That will become my path for the rest of the field. I'll have a nice straight path. Now, if you are manually steering your tractor, it is much easier to do a straight A-B path than it is to do a curved path. If you have gradual curves in a field, you can steer them okay. But I always try to do a straight path unless I can. The fields that I find hard to do on a straight path are your very long, narrow fields, because you don't want to mark your straight path going back and forth down the short distance of the field. You want to run the long end of ends of the field back and forth. So on those fields, I will run a identical curve path. And again, it makes it a little bit harder to keep your light bar on track. You get used to it. But if you can do a straight track, that's what I recommend doing. On this field, probably what I'm going to do, I'm going to drive all the way around this field. I'm not going to mark an A point. After I get through this field, I'm going to go back up to about dead center of the field up here. And I'm going to line myself up just to go right down to dead center of the field. I'm going to mark an A point. And then I'm going to drive straight. Now this thing, I've got to go 45 feet or so. And then it will open up and allow me to do a B point. As soon as it does, I'm going to mark that B point. That will give me a straight line down the field, and I'm going to follow that down the field. That will then become my pass, and I will then work my way to one side, get that side done, go back, work my way to the other side, get that side done. I can get away with that here. This is just pasture. It ain't hurt to run over it any. It's not wet except the far end down there, and I'm not going to get in that anyway. But if you're in row crops and you don't want to be running over and over your crop to go back, you know, to go from one side to the other like I just explained, you want to try to mark your path down one side of the field and work your way back to the other side and you're done. So, that all explained and said, like I said, you need to know your field, study your boundaries and what they are. If you got any obstacles, take those into consideration. Select the appropriate pattern for that field. So I'm going to hit straight here. We got our 40 feet, hit that. So here we're at the main screen. For this unit, you can see this little satellite is green. You can see the little signals, wireless signal lock underneath it there. If you go through an area of heavy trees or up against a mountain or something, there will be a message pops up on this display and it says satellite signal degraded. But this little antenna will turn, or satellite will turn yellow, and you'll lose those little signal symbol there. You cannot mark an AB line when you have degraded signal. So before you start a field, make sure you get full signal there, because if you get down the field and you have degraded signal and you start to mark your AB point, which is right here, it'll mess you up. So it'll frustrate you. So I'm just pointing that out. When I first got this and was learning, I had that happen to me in a field and I overcome it. But anyway, I learned from there on. This is kind of a looking forward view. I don't like that view, so I'm immediately going to tap the screen, and this is the view I'm in right now. This view will show you a whole view of the field, and then this field gives you an overhead look. I like the overhead look, as you'll see here in a little bit, because you can use it to see exactly when to cut your implement, sprayer or whatever, on and off, lift it out of the ground, whatever it is you may be using. So pretty much basically I'm set to go here. If I need to go back home, I can. If I need to go back to the vent, it's right there now, right here on the screen. So the first thing I need to do is turn record mode on. You see it turns green. So what that's going to do is paint the screen green, showing everywhere I've been to that 40-foot width that I set there. So that's that, and we'll get started here. As you can see, it's painting on the screen there. And that's pretty much all we're going to do right now until I make my way around this field and mark off that wet spot down there, and until we get to where I'm going to, like I said, go down the center of the field. So I will return once I get around the field here. Alright, I've made my way almost here around the field. Little creek right there. Go just to this side of that. As you can see, I'm about to connect here with my earlier starting point, and I will start shutting my spreader off here. Alright, so I've been around the field. As you can see, it tallies the acres up here as you go. So I've covered 1.89 acres, and your speed is displayed up here. Just a couple of things I didn't point out a minute ago. So I'm going to turn record mode off, and I am going to drive over here to the center of the field and start my straight AB line. This field also has another straight edge to it over here, but there's a tree. I don't know if you can see that. There's a tree down over there that I haven't got moved out yet. So I need to get that moved. It's going to take my fence down up there eventually, but anyway. So this looks like a decent spot right here. Gonna get pointed here where I want to go. Alright, turn record mode back on. Mark A. Now you'll see it's grayed out right now. So as I drive forward here in a minute, once I get far enough, 45 feet, 60 feet, whatever it is, I forget, that will darken back up where I can then select my B point. So you can see there's a little bitty green dot right there under my arrow, which represents the tractor. Now that represents my A mark. Also, while I'm at it, I will show you the full field view. So you can see I'm lined up to run right down this way. So I'll probably have a little spot down here to finish up, and then I'll finish out this little kind of right triangle we'll have figured out here. Use your geometry a little bit on this stuff, but anyway, again, there's your forward view look. You can see the boundary around the field. Again, I don't like that because I like to see this overview of when to turn things on and off. So anyway, here we go. Just kind of hold it straight as I can here, and looks like that's already, there it went. There's my B. So now my light bar will start working. As you can see, I need to steer a little to the right. I need to go back a little bit to the left. So again, I'm just about 6 inches off. There's about a foot off. Steer back on it here. And as you can see, my next two lines are on the screen here, or my next two passes. You can skip passes if you want, just depending on what you're doing. It will show you your passes as you come up on them on your headland. Anyway, a little bit of a wet spot down here I'm going to wind up in for my turnaround. But, anyway, not too much to it once you get to this point. Just steer the tractor, keep it on that line, and watch that light bar to tell you which way to steer. So here I am coming up. When that reaches the 50% point, like right now, turn the spreader off, run down the track. I'm going to try to catch this next line here. I overshot it a little bit there. I'm used to running that 60-foot sprayer. Get lined back up on it here, turn the spreader on, we start our next pass. and this is pretty much what I'll continue to do until I get done with the field. But yeah, I like how this system works so far compared to the Greenstar system. My other options were the Trimble system. If you want basic entry-level guidance with a display, the Easy Guide 250 you can pick up for around $1,500-$1,600 with a decently accurate antenna. I think you can get them a little cheaper than that with a patch antenna, but just don't even waste your money. I mean, that's the patch antenna is not going to give you the accuracy that you need, especially if you're spraying, planting, doing something that you need decent accuracy on. The other one that I was weighing considerably was the Trimble 750, Easy Guy 750. I think there used to be a 500 or 550. I don't think they make that anymore, but it had a screen comparable to this, but that one was going to run about $2,500 to $2,700 with the good antenna. Turn around here and get on the next pass. That unit probably would have allowed for some different things with my sprayer as far as section control and all goes. And I started to get that. I seen this one at the National Farm Machinery Show, and it seemed like just an easy display to use. I think this company, Ag Leader, claims to have the fewest steps to actually get started on the field and get set up and going. And it's pretty simple, especially since I have a little background now coming from the Greenstar system. I'm not claiming to be an expert on these things, but yeah. The thing with getting section control on the sprayer is I've got to buy another box for the sprayer, and it's pretty pricey, and I just don't know right now, unless crop prices go back up and I got some extra money floating around. I'll probably just live with this for right now and manual section control. I will be interested in automatic steering, or the automatic steering at some point for this. You know, it'd be nice to just sit back and let this thing do its own thing and not have to try to keep up with staying on that line. And that would make doing a curved track a lot easier on the field. So if I had that, I could have set a curved track down that first side and then just let it automatically steer. But there's different versions of the steering that you can get. Some of them are better than others. So again, I'll just wait that out right now, and someday I'll try to get that. So I'll wait and see what I do on the section control first. But yeah, as you can see, I've made a few passes here, so hopefully you're getting kind of the general idea of how it works. Yeah, I'll update you here when I get to the end of the field. Alright, so I'm not at the end of the field yet, like I said, but I wanted to show an example here. As you can see, this here is not quite a full pass. With this rudder buggy, I have no choice but to go down through here with it. But this is where, if you're running a spray rig with section control, you can cut your sections off on this side. And it gives you a visual of that as you go down through here. As I go down through here, this is actually going to widen up a little bit, and then I could turn sections back on or whatever if need be. But as we're having this overhead view on, and the map of where you've been here really helps on that. So yes, I am overlapping a little bit right now. There ain't much I can do about it, like I said. But as you can see, it's starting to widen out down there, so I don't know if it's going to widen out to be a full pass, but you kind of get the idea of how you could then start turning spray boom sections back on and whatnot in that situation. If you're manually doing that. When I mentioned section control earlier on the spray rig, that's what I meant. If I had automatic section control, it would know from the signal it's receiving from this GPS or the data when to turn those sections on and off during an overlap situation like that. So I'm about to finish this side of the field up, and then I will drive over to the other side, finish that out, and then we will be done with this field. And we'll move on to the next one. I'm going to follow this curve right here, just watching the screen. 50%, turn it off. Let you see the field as I've done it. Now, I'm making a little bit of a muddy mess down here. This end stays kind of wet. But I'll find the next pass here and keep on working my way down the field here. So to show you some other features here that I failed to point out, once your AB line is marked, you can see this little window over here has some options for me where you can nudge your line to the left or the right a little bit. Say you get off bad on one line, but you don't want to stay off that bad on the rest of the field. You can use these buttons here to nudge your line so many inches one way or the other. You can also start another AB point if you need to in the field, which there are fields that, you know, if they have drainage ditches or whatever down them, you want to do multiple AB points based on that. You can reset it. Here's some tools here where you can adjust your light bar and stuff on the fly there. Yeah, all that's opened up once your AB point is identified and marked there. So we're getting pretty close to getting this field done. And we'll move on to the next one here in a few minutes. Alright folks, so on my final pass here, as you can see, get this pass through here and we're back at the starting point. And I will show you how to complete this field. Up here to the end, pull my sprayer off. This is a hydraulically operated, well, it's a wheel driven sprayer, but it has a hydraulic on and off cut off here. So here we are at the end of the field. So first thing I'm going to do, turn my record mode off. As you can see, we did 7.87 acres. That is not completely accurate because I didn't turn my record mode off at every turnaround at every headland there at the end, so it was calculating acreage there. So if I had the implement switch you seen earlier that would turn record mode on and off, that would then be an accurate representation and pretty close of what I've done. So just to show you here, wipe something off the screen there. There's the fill. So you can kind of see some of the areas that I missed, which are mainly triangles here. The fill are just kind of hard to deal with. But for overall, I had a pretty good coverage of that fill. There it is. I hope you find this helpful. You can go back to the home screen here. You can go into the specifics of the vent here. You can clear the boundaries if you want to, or you can do what I'm just about to do and suspend the entire event, and now I'm ready to start a new event for the next fill. So anyway, I hope some of you find this helpful. Again, this is the Ag Leader compass display, but in basics, a lot of the guidance systems out there work similarly and use the different AB lines, AB points, mount boundaries, etc. So that's just a quick overview, quick tutorial of that, showed you it actually being used in the field. Maybe some of you that are using guidance for the first time or wanting to get guidance, whatever it may be, this will help you get started a little quicker and help you when you start out with it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos. If you like them, please rate, comment, subscribe, whatever you like to do. I enjoy hearing the feedback and communicating with those of you out there. So anyway, see ya.